On the day where Jared Allen was inducted into the Minnesota Vikings Ring of Honor, the Minnesota Vikings picked up a win over the Arizona Cardinals, pushing the record to 6-1. We'll talk about that game right after this. Minnesota Vikings finish off the 34-26 sort of nail biter against the Arizona Cardinals. Get to 6-1. When the Packers get demolished, at the time of recording this will be in about an hour. That game starts. When the Packers get demolished tonight against the Bills, the Vikings will have a 3.5 game lead, plus the head-to-head against the Packers. Man, this game,
that is crazy.
It was a really interesting game. Being at the game was cool, by the way. The seats were awesome. Got to see, enjoyed some beers beforehand. Got to see a little bit of live music, some 80s rock. Fired me up for the game. Got loud in there. Man, it was that stadium, great environment, super fun. The game itself also very entertaining. I thought the Vikings really had things handled when they started, but of course, then I remembered this is the Vikings we're talking about. They'll let Arizona come back, and they did, of course. But man, just getting this win was huge. As I said, this was like the first time in a long time that we played a team that was at full strength. I know no James Conner, but Benjamin was just coming off a huge game. Yeah. Hopkins still had a big game. Murray, did what Murray does. Also did what Murray does sometimes. Maybe Call of Duty got in the way. Who knows?
Probably.
But yeah, I mean, it was the first time where we played a team that I felt was pretty close to full strength, and we still came out with the win. Maybe this team's special. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, dude. This was I still like an Arizona team with DeAndre Hopkins. That's a scary team. And I like, even though Arizona's been up and down this whole year, I still think they have tons of talent on both sides of the ball, especially on offense. So, I mean, this was a good game that we had control of the entire time. Obviously, we did let them. I think what was the point differential that when they scored more than us, or when they were in front of us?
I think that was in the beginning of the third quarter.
It was like a point, right? It was like 1 point ahead, or 3 points or something. Maybe it's 3 points. It was 17-14, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, other than that one time, and then we came down and scored right away. Other than that one time, we were in charge of that game the entire time. Of course, it got close like it always does, and all this crazy stuff's going on. But we still kept charging. We still ended up winning. I would say it still was an up and down game as far as I would say on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Specifically, like where else, like our offense came out swinging. They were looking really good. There was just a few drives in this game where we went nowhere, pretty much, right? So it was like either we went down the field, and then there's obviously the fourth down conversion, or the fourth down attempt that we didn't convert, where that was one of Kirk Cousins had a really good first half. The second half, I mean, we slowed down quite a bit. I think we pulled off the brake or pulled off the gas a little bit in the second half. But yeah, that one play, that third down right before we tried going for that fourth, where Kirk Cousins definitely should have ran it there, even though which it was an obvious play, but we got to tip our hats a little bit, specifically you, since yours is in front of you, to the wheels on Kirk Cousins on that touchdown run.
That was amazing.
He avoided pressure. I thought there was no way he was going to just run that for a touchdown. That was awesome. He came out. He was fantastic in the beginning. I do think we slowed down a little bit in the second half, but we still had good drives when we needed to. That one, or obviously when they, like I already mentioned, when they went ahead of us and we went down the field, scored. And then I think and then our next drive was not good. And then I don't think we went anywhere. And then we got the punt recovery or whatever, and then we scored there. So up and down there. And same with defense. Again, we let a high completion percentage to Kyler Murray. And there was times where they were going down the field on us. A couple of their drives that they scored touchdowns on, they just went right down, no problem. Right after we scored one of those, when we were up by 10, we let them come right back down on us immediately. And those two drives were terrible. But obviously, our defense also stepped up on a lot of drives too, and didn't let them convert on fourth downs, I think twice. Many third downs. We didn't have a ton of 3 and outs exactly. And then obviously we had 2 interceptions and some big plays there as well on defense. It wasn't perfect by our defense. We did allow some easy completions and all that stuff like we've been doing. But man, if we add those turnovers, if we keep doing that, every game that we've had like turnovers, it's kind of like, all right, if we allow a little bit yards and stuff, it's not as bad if we're actually creating turnovers. So that was good. And we were getting to Kyler Murray. Of course, there was a couple times where we did let him, we collapsed the pocket for him to kind of be able to roll out a little bit, but not too much,
No,
man. He
I
didn't
thought
destroy us
for
on
the
our
most
legs.
part, I was impressed with how well they contained him.
Yeah, yeah. There was not very often where he was able to get out on us, which was huge in that game. And obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is DeAndre Hopkins, and he was the biggest. We even talked about it. He was the biggest X factor, pretty much for us as far as stopping. Patrick Peterson was the guy that we expected to be against him, but he didn't really actually play against him. Patrick Peterson still had a fantastic game. He had a really good game this game, I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I had a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
But that's
No, you
pretty
did,
much
and you're right on all of them. But like, I want to start off like getting into deeper on the defense here. Now,
Yeah.
I obviously have been very critical of Ed Donatel and of some of what happens on that defense. But today, yes, that drive after we scored and we let them just drive down like nothing. Eno
Right.
Benjamin scored.
Or the
There
one
was a
when
couple of drives
Rondale
like
Moore
that.
scored.
The second half mainly, or yeah, that was Rondale Moore. Yeah,
That's
but there was the second half mainly where we had a two possession lead, and we just went back to that same like deep cover two shell and let him just dink and dunk underneath us, which is how DeAndre Hopkins got so many yards. That was still frustrating, but I felt like there was a little more aggressiveness on defense this game, which I was very happy about. Yeah, man. So I got to give credit to Ed Donatel the way he did with that defense today. Again, outside of those few drives where they probably just went kind of more into that prevent, but Za'Darius Smith, man.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna mention
that might be one of the best signings league wide so far from this last offseason, man. Like that 3 sacks, what do you have, 8.5 on the year?
3 sacks plus, dude. He stepped up huge, man. He is just playing at another level. He's exactly what we want, especially when we're not seeing as, I still see Danielle Hunter. He makes some good plays. He still, has a lot of gas in the tank and he's running all over the place. You're not seeing him get to the quarterback at the same amount that he was before, but Za'Darius Smith is stepping up in that role for us, and he's been fantastic. And this game was huge. And when he's on, he's the reason why you kind of feel that aggressiveness in this game from our defense, I feel like. And yeah, dude. I mean, what a stud.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said,
definitely happy to have him on our team.
Yeah. And for the most part, those outside guys, like I said, really good job containing Murray. And we talked about it, leading up to the game. You force Murray to make a move, and sometimes he'll make some stupid decisions. 2 interceptions. Each of the safeties had one. Patrick Peterson, like you said, felt like he played really well against the former team. Speaking of which, Jordan Hicks with a huge 4th down stop at the end of the game there. Fired up. Jordan Hicks was fired up this entire game.
Right.
So was Patrick Peterson. He was mocking, kind of walking up and down the sidelines, talking to the Cardinals sideline right away. After one of the interceptions, they had a big team celebration in the end zone. He was playing video games, and they asked him about it, and he's like, oh, I don't know. I think it's called Call of Duty. I don't know. Not a big gamer, but it was just a little joke. But, man, Patrick Peterson was ready in this game. You could tell. As we said before, he started off slow, but, man, as of late, Patrick Peterson looked like Arizona Cardinals Patrick Peterson. It's impressive.
I know, dude. It's huge for our team, man. That's crazy. Our defense is, we can say in the last couple of weeks against Miami. Now this team against, I mean, I don't care what the record says. Miami actually had a big comeback win against the Lions. I mean, no surprises, Lions. But I mean, 2 like very talented offenses. You're talking about 2 young quarterbacks and Tua and Murray, with guys like Jalen Waddle, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, a few of the best. I mean, you could arguably top 10, top 15 if you want to put Waddle, top 10, top 15, whatever you want to put him. Top 10 for sure, and Tyreek, if not top 5, Tyreek Hill and Hopkins, back-to-back weeks. And our defense has been more aggressive and has stepped up. And even going into this game, we had our X factors, and our number 1 was stopping DeAndre Hopkins, which definitely made sense. And we had Patrick Peterson specifically. Hopkins had himself a day. It was hard to hold him down, but it was obviously probably part of the big game plan. And then we had keeping Murray keeping contain of Murray, specifically out of Hicks and Eric Kendricks, and they both played a really good game. Za'Darius Smith getting pressure to the quarterback obviously is always something we mention every single week. And then the last X factor we had going into this game was Dalvin Cook against their defense, and Dalvin Cook stepped up in a really big way. in this game. And there's a lot of plays where he big plays, like where 3rd and 9 or something, 3rd and 8, and we ended up getting a first down from his run or something like that. So
that little fake draw pitch out to him was an amazing play call. That was beautifully
yeah. What was that? That was a fake. Oh, it's 3rd and 1 fake to CJ Ham, pitch out to Delvin Cook, wide open field. What a great play. And then the play right at the ends where we scored. Man, who was that to again? That was Munt was wide open in the end zone, right?
Yep.
And that was like, I think we had Rager in there, or no, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Rager had a fake jet sweep or something like that.
Something like that. I don't know, some fake stuff, but I don't know. Whatever their play call had Munt absolutely wide open, and not even there's a couple guys wide open, and they thought it was just going to be a run, and that was a perfect play call too. So
yeah, for sure. Before we kind of leave defense and go into offense here, one of the things, speaking of Eric Kendricks on that Rondale Moore touchdown reception, one of the things, sometimes they don't go for the tackle. Eric Kendricks is trying to strip the ball. Missed the tackle there. So I get it, being aggressive, going for the ball, but at the same time, like, if you can make a touchdown saving tackle, make the tackle. You know?
That one drive was probably the worst drive of the game.
And that was the big one. Like, right after we scored, all the momentum was back on our side again. And it is what it is. But overall, as I kind of said, like, I know, you're going against Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins there, and Rondale Moore is a talented number 2 receiver as well. Very impressed with. I was actually very impressed with how the defense played today.
Yeah,
so, gotta give credit where credit is due. 26 points. Yeah, I know it's you allowed them to score 26 points. It is what it is.
Talented offense.
But containing Murray didn't make like that one big play that really sunk your hopes. And you at the end of the game, he had sacked them twice in a row when they could have gone down and scored. So those were both huge plays. Containing Kyler Murray was the biggest thing in this game. Still had 226 yards, but only 36 rushing yards. He's their leading rusher. So, yeah, I thought the defense played very well today. Got to give them. I mean, obviously not perfect. Yes, they can still be better. Get a little too soft sometimes, sure. But overall, I was pretty happy with how the defense played.
Yeah. And then there was a one play right at the end where Kyler Murray, I think we put pressure on him. He was able to get right up the middle, and he actually gained quite a bit of yards on us. But I don't remember who it was for their team, but they had what would it be? I don't know if it's a block in the back.
It was a block in the back. Yep.
Block in the back on Cam Dantzler, and that got taken away. So I was like, that was like that play where you're like, damn, that's his play where that momentum goes into his favor, and it just got taken out because of that block. And then the rest is history from there. I would just say, if I had one thing for this game, it's against a talented offense. It was going to be high scoring. We called it high scoring. I'm not surprised. Actually, what was the final score again? Let me look at it.
Final score of the game was 34-26.
Mine was, I think my prediction was 34-24. I'll just say that. But so I'll mention that. But the only thing for me is, don't take your foot off the gas. I think right at the end there, we were up by 8 points. So there's like 4 minutes left. I get it. You want to get rid of as much time as possible. But part of me is still like, go down and get that final score that just, they have no chance. I mean, they still have 8 points. They started running the ball, just trying to run the clock out, which is fine. I get it. It's smart, but man, you do see these coaches that will just put their foot on your throat and just end it like that, not even giving you a chance.
Yeah.
I understand you feel confident in your defense. Our defense this year, they did stop it. I'll give them that. I don't feel 100% confident that they'll be able to stop every team, especially when we're against Josh Allen. Like, if you're against Bills and you're in that same situation, you do not try. I don't think 4 minutes left. You do not try to run that ball out. You go down and try your best to score again. And yeah, I think that will be important when we go through further teams. But other than that, man, it was pretty good.
Yeah, but getting into offense here. Big thing with the offense: 5 of 5 in the red zone, 5 touchdowns, 5 trips, 5 touchdowns. That's what you want to see. That's good offense right there. Probably best that they've been in those situations all game long, or all year long. Kirk Cousins obviously up and down. That rushing touchdown was awesome.
Yeah.
Where like you mentioned, the one where he could have ran for the first down, though he turned it over on downs. So that was kind of frustrating. Took a couple of sacks, 3 sacks to be exact. But at the same time, some of his throws were dynamite. The throw to KJ Osborne was perfectly placed.
Right.
And when I first saw the throw to Jefferson, I'm like, oh my God, that pass was terrible. But now the more you look at it, he tossed it up there and let the star of the show go make a play. And that's kind of what it was. He missed him. I know he missed him earlier. He took the shorter check down to Thielen when he had
Right.
Jefferson wide open behind him,
Yeah.
which is frustrating. But
Right.
at the end of the day, 24-36, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. This is, that's perfectly fine. I thought Kirk played relatively well given everything that went on.
Yeah, I want to say also that when he threw to Justin Jefferson when he was really he was pretty covered and there's 2 guys coming, that catch by Justin Jefferson was awesome. And that brings back to we needed to get the ball into Justin Jefferson's hands more, which we did start doing in the second half again, and the ball kept moving. And as far as Kirk Cousins goes, I think the only thing with that is I still do wish we would get downfield more. He does. I mean, we have 2 downfield attempts a game. It feels like sometimes.
But really, nobody took any deep shots this game. The Cardinals really didn't either.
No, they didn't. But still, we should still do it.
I mean,
we just don't even
was
Justin Jefferson. Oh, maybe
reception was Rondale Moore with 38 on that. Probably, I think that was that touchdown that he had.
And that wasn't a deep ball.
No.
That was a shorter. That was run after the catch or whatever.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson did have 30, but he had a 30-yarder.
29. Which is surprising though. Justin Jefferson quietly almost had 100 yards this game. It didn't really feel like it.
Right, right.
That's solid. Thielen 6 for 67.
That is crazy. Almost 100 yards.
Yeah, right. Irv had 4 for 28. KJ 2 for 8. Johnny Munt 1 for 1 and 1 touchdown. That's nice to see. Running game was dynamite. As you talked about, Delvin Cook 111 yards. Alexander Madison showing why we probably shouldn't trade him. Very solid number 2 back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, offense put up 34 points. That's pretty huge. Obviously, they were given a couple short fields, which is nice. Obviously, when your defense can force turnovers like they did, and they took advantage of some of them they did not. But overall, 34 points, that's pretty good when your offense can put up 34 points. And like I mentioned beforehand, the 5 of 5 in the red zone also huge. So, I mean, again, this offense can be more explosive.
I think it's the big plays. I think that's what I feel like we're missing. It's the big plays. It's not just as far as getting downfield. It's more of getting Justin Jefferson a 50-yard touchdown or anybody on our team. We haven't seen a ton of that. Obviously, most importantly, we just need to win games. It's not about that kind of stuff, but it is nice. When you just boom, one play, it feels like we're grinding every possession for our touchdowns, I guess, which is fine, but it'd be cool to get Justin Jefferson a big touchdown.
Yeah. But Justin Jefferson, I don't think he's had a receiving touchdown since week 1.
Yeah,
I think he had 2 in week 1. He has not had another one since. So they got to get him in the end zone. But so 34-26, 8-point game. I know everybody's saying offense, defense, why can't you guys just make it so we win by more than one possession? They tried their hardest. It was all faltered by kicker Greg Joseph. I think the Vikings need to bring in some competition. Again, I don't know if you're going to make a signing, but you got to do something because Greg Joseph, man, I'm on his side with the way that he handled the Arizona loss last year.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with that. But this year so far, I think he's nails from 49 and in, which is kind of weird that he's missing extra points if he's awesome from the 49 in. But he's one of 6 on 50+ yarders, I believe I heard. And then he's missed 3 extra points this season. Those things are the 50-some yarders I can understand sort of, but also the one today that the trajectory was low and it got blocked. I don't know, man. Greg Joseph is
and the extra points is kind of unexcusable. I don't know what the stats are around the league, but I have a good feeling that nobody else has 3 missed extra points this season. And the problem with these extra points, they're always in important situations even I think it was just last game, right? We were up by 5 or something, or up by 4, and he missed it, and then we ended up kicking a field goal. So then we were up by 7 or something like that. And then this week, we were up by 8, and obviously there's a chance they score a touchdown, get 2-point conversion. All you need is this extra point, and then they have to at least, it's a 2-possession game. And then you miss it there. So it's important. All you need to do is make this one extra kick, and now they have to score on 2 drives. So yeah, that part is not good, I guess, or for sure. But
so I don't know what you do there, but something's got to change because it's going to end up costing us down the road if we keep rolling with it. But also speaking of, I wanted one more thing on Jared Allen. When he came out for a ceremony, he was on a horse. So
yeah, I did see that.
Very Jared Allen, I love it. But
Oh,
hey,
and speaking of Za'Darius Smith, though, comes out first sack, pays homage to Jared Allen with the whole, what would it be, the cattle,
yeah, tying up the cattle.
tying
Yep,
up the
that was
cattle
fantastic.
celebration or whatever, and then goes on to get 3 sacks in that game. Let's go. I mean, that
Yeah,
was
man.
that was beast as hell.
Yeah. But at the
I
end of the
love that.
day, like this was a game we both talked about before. Like other than like that time in the third quarter, I never felt like the Vikings were in danger of losing this game, which was
Mhm.
nice. It was the first game where I wasn't incredibly stressed the whole time. Obviously it did get a little bit tight in the third quarter, but yes. But overall, like at the end of that game, like, oh, we're winning this. There's no way we're gonna lose. And that's
Yeah.
pretty nice. And being there is an extra touch as well. You got the beers flowing and the noise and everything. It was super cool atmosphere. But
Right, right. I'm ready
at
to
the end of
see.
the day, big in conference win at home. Minnesota Vikings are 6-1. Life's
Yeah.
pretty good right now
Let
for Vikings
let's
fans.
get Kirk Cousins another chain. I think he's ready for like maybe like an earring or something. I mean, we just need to keep adding all that on to him, all that jewelry. I mean, he's coming out, he's swag Kirk Cousins, swag Cousins, whatever you want to call him. That's how it rolls. Keep adding that to him, keep giving him everything he needs because he is coming out and not just, I mean, he started this game fantastic. He did kind of have a couple not not the greatest drives, but in the most important moments so far this year, he has showed up in this game after they scored against us, just to go down to score again against them. And I mean, it's been big. He hasn't
Yeah,
thrown the big plays like I want, but at the same time, he's coming in clutch situations, and that's at the very least. Actually, that's all I can ask for.
yeah,
So
exactly. But
that's
either
good.
way, Minnesota Vikings 6-1, leading the division. That's great. Let us know what you thought of this game down in the comment section. Like the video, and we'll see you guys next time on GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.